Chapter 11, the Tower of Babel. This is one that a lot of people know as well. We're still into some of these cool stories in the beginning. The last chapter was a whole bunch of descendants, and that's not always fun. I tried to make it as entertaining as I could. Actually, I didn't even try. I just there's so much to comment on. Someone was named Peleg in the last chapter, so that's just writing itself, honestly. This one's called the Tower of Babel. It's another name chapter starter. Chapter 11, the Tower of Babel. Now, the whole world had one language and common speech. It is kind of weird because somewhere in the last chapter it said that, yeah, from each of these people, there's a specific group of people, the sons of Javan in chapter 10. I'm looking at it right now on the other page. It says that from these, the maritime people spread out into their territories by their clans within their nations, each with its own language. So I guess it's not a conflict with the fact that everyone has one language at the beginning of chapter 11, because that could be referencing something that happens in the far future. Like these maritime people eventually had other languages, I guess, if you want to explain that one away. Because the Bible's infallible. According to the denomination I grew up in, the Church of Christ, that I mention all the time, I should probably stop advertising for them because I think they do more harm than good. They hurt a lot of people. And yeah, it's just my opinion. Now, the whole world had one language and a common speech. As they moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. This is Plain. It is not plane like an aircraft. They had not invented that during the time of the Bible. We only learned how to fly about 100 years ago. They said to each other, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." It just sounds like a good time. That's what they did for fun back then. Hey man, you want to go bake some bricks? When people say they want to bake today, that's not what they're talking about usually. They used brick instead of stone and tar. They used brick instead of stone, comma, and tar for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city." Wow, they're really escalating there. In the beginning, they're like, let's make some bricks and just bake them. And now they're like, let's build a city. Let's build a whole city. What are we going to do with this? Let's find out what happens. Let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens. Ah, right, because they're still thinking of literal heaven being directly above them in the sky. So that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth. That's reasonable. Hey, I don't know why they think a tower will prevent them from being scattered. Yeah. Okay, I'm confused again. Otherwise we'll be scattered. If we don't build a tower to heaven, we're all going to be scattered. Be careful what you wish for. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower. So he comes flying down. The Lord came down to see the city and the tower that the people were building. The Lord said, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan will be impossible for them." Where are you going with this, God? "Come, let us, interesting wording again, let us go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other." Was that the justification? Hang on, I can't grab these pages because I'm at the beginning of the Bible. If as one people speaking the same language they've begun to do this, then nothing they plan will be impossible for them. So what's the concern here? So does he not like that they're going to reach heaven? Is it just that he doesn't like that they're capable when they communicate together? Also, let's just use the United States or China as an example here. We have built far greater things than whatever this population is. The United States population, I believe, I haven't looked in a while, but it should be somewhere around like 330 million, somewhere in that range. China's over 1 billion, India's over 1 billion. All of these nations speak a common language and communicate with each other. And technologically, they are far superior to the Tower of Babel and can build higher for sure. But God hasn't come down and confused their language for any reason. We have smartphones in our pockets. I'm communicating on insane devices all around me, able to spread messages like this in spite of God apparently watching. And I'm capable of this, and my language is not confused. So I guess, again, be careful what you wish for. Please don't, God. It just seems strange to me that a much smaller group of people with a much lower sense of technology, much less developed, had their language confused by God. With everything that we have today, nothing's happened. So the Lord scattered them from there over all the earth. The opposite of what they wanted happened. God came down and did the exact thing they were trying to prevent. And they stopped building the city. Yep, we could have called that one, I think. The Lord scattered them everywhere, and they stopped building the city. That is why it was called Babel, just like the app, just like the language learning app. Babel. Makes sense, right? Because there the Lord confused the language of the whole... because there, as in Babel, the Lord confused the language of the whole world. From there, the Lord scattered them over the face of the whole earth. Okay, that was said. We're just repeating ourselves again. All right, that's the end of the story, but not the end of the chapter, because I stopped talking about that. I guess just an important piece of information. Everyone got scattered and scrambled, babbled, you might say. We'll make it a verb. From Shem to Abram. Now, you might know this guy by some other... I'm pretty sure Abram is Abraham. We're going to find out. I mean, we're reading the whole thing. I know it's only chapter 11, and this is only video 11, but we're going to read all this. I hope I'm committed enough. I hope I'm consistent enough. From Shem to Abram. This is the account of Shem's family line. 2 years after the flood, when Shem was 100 years old, he became the father of Arphaxad. It's Arphaxad. It's a pretty cool name, actually. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but we read about him in the previous chapter. He became the father of Arphaxad. And after he became the father of Arphaxad, Shem lived 500 years and had other sons and daughters. We're back to this wording again. If you were watching the first videos, you remember this. When Arphaxad had lived 35 years, he became the father of Shelah. And after he became the father of Shelah, Arphaxad lived 403 years and had other sons and daughters. Oh, no. I see the paragraph beneath. Let's get through it. Bite the bullet. Here we go. When Shelah had lived 30 years, he became the father of Eber. And when he became the father of Eber, Shelah lived 403 years and had other sons and daughters. And when Eber had lived 34 years, he became the father of Peleg. Peleg makes his return. That's my favorite name before. It sounds like peg leg, but it's Peleg. And it kind of sounds like Pele as well, the football player. And after he became the father of Peleg, Eber lived 430 years and had other sons and daughters. We could probably just assume that they have... we can't know they had other sons and daughters. It's fine. When Peleg had lived 30 years, he became the father of Reu. And after he became the father of Reu, Peleg lived 209 years. Their lifespans are getting shorter and shorter. I guess, their health is declining. Maybe that's just sin. Peleg lived 209 years and had other sons and daughters. When Reu had lived 32 years, he became the father of Sarah, or Serug. And after he became the father of Serug, Reu lived 207 years, 2 years shorter than his father, and had other sons and daughters. Okay, we're about halfway through. When Serug had lived 30 years, he became the father of Nahor. And after he became the father of Nahor, Serug lived 200 years and had other sons and daughters. And when Nahor had lived 29 years, we're getting into just normal parent territory here. It's pretty, especially, got pretty young there in the 50s. It was like, you were like 16 having kids, and now, people are like in their late 20s because they can't afford them. He became the father of Terah. And after he became the father of Terah, Nahor lived 119 years and had other sons and daughters. What happened to the thing earlier? This is a brief tangent. We only have one more genealogy thing to read, but what happened to back in the earlier chapter when they said the maximum age of humans will be 120 years? A bunch of these guys just lived 400. Let's just keep working towards we're here. After Terah had lived 70 years, he became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Abram's our main character, I think a main character for a bit, and I think he becomes Abraham. I won't look ahead. I won't cheat. I'm sorry, everybody. Abraham's family. We're still in chapter 11. There's just another title. We got 3 titles on this one. This one's pretty short, actually, but I might end up making it long because I have a tendency to do that. This is the account of Terah's family line. We're not even starting. Wait. Terah became the father of Abram. We are starting with him. Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran became the father of Lot. Ooh, he's another important character. While his father, Terah, was still alive, Haran died in Ur of the Chaldeans in the land of his birth. Abram and Nahor both married. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, like the chocolate bars. I love Milcah. So in this chapter, Milcah is my favorite character so far. She was the daughter of Haran and the father of both Milcah and Iscah. Now Sarai was childless because she was not able to conceive. Okay, it's fair that they explain that. It could have been she was childless because she just didn't want to have kids. But they tell us she was unable to conceive. So fair play. I take back my the face that I made when I first read that. Terah took his son Abram, his grandson Lot, son of Haran, and his daughter. Wait, Abram's grandson? Wait, where was Lot in Haran? How is Terah took his son Abram and his grandson? Oh, right, because he had Haran. Okay, yeah. Again, that makes sense. His grandson Lot, son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, the wife of his son Abram. And together they set out from Ur of the Chaldeans to go to Canaan. That's the curse guy from before. But when they came to Haran, they settled there. Oh, okay. Terah lived 205 years, and he died in Haran. That's the end of the chapter. It's the end of chapter 11. So that's it, everyone. Thank you for following me through this. I'm sure there's going to be genealogies more painful than that. And I mean, it's not even that far away. It kind of is far away. Where's Numbers? Where's Deuteronomy? There's some of these where I think it's just not fun, but whatever. That's a problem for future Sean. Tune in for chapter 12 in 2 days.